Panasonic is back, baby. Now with a more affordable model, the Panasonic Z85A. At a solid $1,500 price point, this OLED competes directly with models from LG, Sony, and the reigning champion, the Samsung S90D. Hey, I'm Nicholas from Rtings.com. While we won't do an in-depth comparison today, we will dive into all the details about the Panasonic Z85A. First things first, how does this TV look? After all, your very first impression comes from its physical appearance as you unbox it. It's well made, with thin bezels and a sturdy metal stand, so it checks all the boxes for a premium TV. However, it does have a relatively thick bump around the inputs at the back. For most people, this won't be an issue, but if you're looking for a fully flat TV for wall mounting, this isn't the one. Overall, the Z85A looks good and feels solid. The higher-end Z95A made waves for its inclusion of a 5.1.2 speaker system built into the TV, but the Z85A doesn't have that. Essentially, this means the Z85A sounds more like what you'd expect from a standard TV, so it's not outstanding. For clear dialogue, it's fine, but for rich audio, it doesn't quite cut the mustard. As always, just get a soundbar. The Z85A shares the same operating system as the Z95A, Fire TV OS. It's a bit of a unique choice for Panasonic, but it performs well. It's fast, responsive, and packed with apps. However, it lacks Chromecast support, which makes casting from Android devices a bit more complicated than it should be. It does include Apple AirPlay for Apple users though. Overall, while Fire TV functions well, it's probably not a standout feature of this TV. Now let's get into the core. How's the picture quality? Without an MLA layer, does its HDR brightness meet expectations? Or is it outshone by its competitors? Not surprisingly, its HDR brightness doesn't soar. In fact, it's a bit dimmer than the LG C4. Its Achilles heel is its very aggressive automatic brightness limiter, or ABL. While it's very bright with small highlights, it dims significantly in brighter scenes. This is typical for WOLEDs without an MLA layer, but some competitors, like the C4, handle brightness better here. One plus is that the brightness remains consistent in true game mode. Not the brightest, but it's consistent. Thankfully, Panasonic is absolutely killing it this year when it comes to HDR accuracy, as this TV is quite tight on the curve. It even rolls off with all mastered content to preserve bright highlights when the TV gets near its max brightness. Nearly flawless. It's definitely a standout TV for those of you who care more about accuracy than about getting the brightest TV possible. And it does so without sacrificing colors. The TV displays almost all of the DCI-P3 color space used by most content. If you like colors, this TV will satisfy. And if you do happen to watch content using the wider Rec 2020 color space, then the Z85A also does a good job here. As expected, it displays bright whites well, and it also displays dark, saturated colors very well. Still, bright colors, minus whites of course, look a bit washed out. Not anything you'll really notice in HDR unless you have this TV set up next to a QD OLED, but it's there. In SDR, well, like most mid-range OLEDs, it's a bit disappointing. It's easily bright enough to overcome glare in most rooms, especially with that fantastic reflection handling. Its ABL is still aggressive though, so bright scenes are way dimmer than darker scenes with smaller highlights. At least this TV is an accuracy monster, even in SDR. All you need to do is set this TV to the warm 2 color setting, and you're golden. Is it perfect? No, but almost. The only problem is that bright scenes are a bit too bright on the gamma curve. That's all there is. Great job, Panasonic. What else? It's an OLED, so expect perfect contrast, no blooming, and great viewing angles. Better than some of LG's newer models. For gamers, it has near instant response times and low input lag, making for a smooth gaming experience. Unfortunately though, it does lack something that most of its competitors now have, a 144Hz refresh rate. For console gamers, this doesn't really matter, but for PC gamers looking to connect their rigs to this TV, yeah, that'll sting a bit. But otherwise, this is a fantastic gaming TV. The Z85A has pretty awesome image processing, especially when it comes to upscaling, and this cheaper model follows suit. Its upscaling is fantastic and is basically at Sony's level. This makes it a standout TV if you like to pop in an old school DVD here and there. When it comes to HDR native gradient handling and low quality content smoothing, it's good, although here it's nothing special. There's some noticeable banding in all grays and in bright greens. While it preserves details well when smoothing out content, it doesn't smooth out as much macro blocking as some of its competitors. So, should you buy the Panasonic Z85A? You could, and if you do, you'll be happy. It's an incredible performer, and its upscaling and image accuracy are class leading. It is a product targeted for movie lovers, home theater enthusiasts, and folks who really care about watching content as the creator intended. One TV that the Z85A compares well to is the Sony BRAVIA 8. Both brands are laser focused on image processing, and both TVs perform similarly in terms of picture quality. They also both have only two 4K at 120Hz HDMI 2.1 ports. There are some differences, however. The Sony is noticeably brighter in SDR content, but in turn, the Panasonic is far more accurate in SDR and HDR out of the box. The Panasonic's viewing angle is a bit wider than the Sony's, but the Sony's reflection handling is a bit better. But what about image processing? Well, Panasonic's upscaling shines through even against the Sony TV, although it's close. Still, the BRAVIA 8 does have better low-quality content smoothing and HDR native gradient handling. Frankly, these TVs are very similar and are even priced more or less the same. If you care about upscaling and accuracy the most, or if you really want your TV to support HDR10+, go for the Panasonic. Otherwise, the Sony is brighter in SDR and has better overall image processing. Oh, and the BRAVIA 8 also passes through DTS audio formats. But when it comes to brightness, it's dimmer than other TVs in its price range, such as the LG C4 and especially the Samsung S90D. The Samsung is also much more colorful due to its QD OLED panel. The Z85A is also the only one of the three without 144Hz support, as it's limited to 120Hz on its two HDMI 2.1 ports. Oh, and one of these also doubles as the eARC port, so you lose it if you have a connected soundbar. Truly, if you want the best bang for your buck OLED, you gotta look at the S90D. It has the worst image processing of the bunch, although it does have the best HDR gradient handling, and lacks Dolby Vision and DTS audio pass-through. That said, it's the most vibrant TV out of the three in most content, and is our most recommended OLED of the year. It just ticks all the boxes for most people. We still have a few Panasonic videos coming later this week and the next, but if you're interested in a sneak preview, head on over to our website where the written reviews are already up. Until next time, I'm Nicholas from Rtings.com, where we help you find the best products for your needs. Ciao. The higher end is at Z95A.
Yeah, model numbers, man.
Okay, this is a break for me coming from monitors. Monitor naming people looking at TVs. Pathetic. Just come to the computer channel. You'll see for yourself.